Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday, and welcome back to Ejima. So today's video is kind of going to be a continuation of what we were talking about last Tuesday because I felt like the conversation was a bit rushed. Not rushed, but I did leave out some things I really did want to talk about, right? So in this video, I'm going to continue talking about Charlotte, North Carolina. It seems like that's what a few people are interested in as well. I get a lot of questions. As you all know, my name is Ned, and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And I'm Ngazi, and I live in Houston, Texas.
Okay, and in this live, we're going to be talking about the question is, should you move to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2024? Okay, yes, everyone, please like the video.
You're coming back a little strong. I don't know if you want to put down
I'm
the
coming
volume.
back. I'm loud.
Yeah, it's loud.
You sound better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, let me put it down. All right. So hopefully I sound better right now than I did before. So with all the glare, look at my glasses. In this video, I'm going to be talking about should you move to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2024. And last week we touched on some points about some people having some issues with Charlotte, a lot of people leaving. We feel like there's some issues with the city as far as retention, especially professionally. And I know a lot of people joined this channel a couple years ago when I moved in 2020, well, like almost 4 years ago now. A lot of people are asking for updates, want to see more of my life, so I'm going to try and do, but life be life in. But should you move to Charlotte in 2020, North Carolina 2024? I really think it depends on what you're looking for. And I don't think this could really be a yes or no answer. I really think it's going to vary based on the individual. Okay. I don't technically have plans of leaving Charlotte in the near future, but I'm not opposed to it. If I had an opportunity that came up, I don't think that Charlotte about it. Right. So that might be okay. I do think it has a city with a lot of potential, but it just hasn't gotten there yet. I think in the future, maybe like 10, 15 years, it might be able to compete with other major cities. They said like 10, but maybe like even 5, 10 years. But for now, it's just slowly getting there. And I personally think as a young person who wants a lot to do, and if you really, really want a lot of variety, I may not suggest Charlotte, North Carolina, right? Just because it's kind of small. We talked about that last week. It can get very redundant. It's not as cultured as other major cities. It's not, you don't have as many options, right? So like I'll talk to people and she'll be like, oh, we went to this place. We went here. We went there. She'll be naming places I've never even heard of before, right? Versus pretty much like she can probably tell y'all everywhere that I've gone
I
in
did
Charlotte.
before in the video. I named like 10 spots, the 10 spots in Charlotte. I listed.
Say like she could probably name easily like our weekend lineup if I was to go out, which I don't really do anymore, but that's going to change. So I think that's the major difference. I would say Charlotte, you can't really compare it to other major cities. I don't really think you compare it. It's not fair. Like Atlanta, Houston, they're bigger. They're going to have more to do. They're more diverse. They're a little faster. But I don't think it's the worst place out there, right? Like my haters in here. Oh, hey, Evie, some of the Houston haters were like, oh, Houston, 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 Houston. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna make a hot real
Hey, sweet twinning. Hey.
The one thing that scares me about Houston, and I'm just gonna be completely transparent. I didn't have time to put mousse in my hair, y'all. Please excuse me. I haven't worn a wig since December 16th. So today makes about, these locks have been going strong. I just had a style under it. That's the only reason I'm wearing this wig because my style, like I have to undo it. So yeah, Lock Nation. But I tell you this all the time. And the one thing that really scares me about moving to Houston is I really feel like a lot of the girls there are single. And I'm not saying this is not in every major city, right? I'm not saying that it can,
It's a city. And
but
we already know you don't relocate for men. We already made that clear.
I know that, but I noticed a trend specifically with Houston. Like a lot of pretty, successful, put together, good looking women, like mid, late 30s, still single.
How about Atlanta? How
I
about
don't
all these other major cities?
know. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not there, but for some reason specifically, I've seen it and I've been hearing about it concerning Houston for a very, very long time. So it's the one thing I kind of just wonder, like, what is it about that culture? Like, what is it there that, like, is it too fast? Is it too party life? Is it too rowdy? Is it too like is it too much going on that people get lost, that people get like sidetracked and distracted? Like what is it that I'm noticing this common trend? But anyway, that's a struggle everywhere, whatever. But I kind of like that Charlotte's a bit slow, right? I kind of like it, despite what people say. Like I kind of like it, but I'm gonna play this reel for you guys, right? I'll probably play it again towards the end when more people join, or I could
If
wait.
you're liking the video, share this video, let people join. People you think that are interested in relocating to North Carolina, share it, share it, share it. Let's get the numbers up. Make sure y'all like this. But I mean, yeah, let's make it a little, entertaining. Q
Okay.
said she's from St. Louis, relocating to Charlotte in July. Oh wow, St. Louis, sexy red. Okay, Missouri. All right, nice. What made you decide on Charlotte? There are a lot of us single everywhere. I told you I made a video on this 3 years ago. Best cities for single Black women. I had to go and retract it last January. Made the video about you can want to relocate. I don't think it's a bad thing to relocate thinking of being partnered if you're someone who is single, right? Where's Mia? Because we always get into relationships and dating, even though this is not the topic. But I would strongly advise against a woman, particularly moving thinking that she's gonna move somewhere and just have this great dating life. Like, because I feel as if you think that way, it can end up being very disappointing. It can be a challenge everywhere, but the children of God are still thriving and surviving. So we when it was dark in Goshen, it was light. Let me not get too spiritual, but I think it can be a challenge no matter where you are. What I can say though, kind of speaking to Nena's point about particularly Houston, I think you may be a bit biased because you know more people there. But I do think that we talk about this in our videos, being somewhere that's a major city. That's not a lot of people, men in particular, is priority. People are here to work, to make money, lifestyle. People don't really move to. Yeah, people are not really moving to major cities. Think about, I'm about to go and settle down and start a family. That's what people think of, like rural, smaller towns, more, things where there's not really things to do. So I will admit the men and the women as well are very distracted, can be very distracted in a city like Houston. And I think that can speak to the things that you say you've noticed about people being single in Houston. But I think that goes
like in Houston, like I'm telling you, it's a common, and like I'm talking about even specific to African girls, right? Like sometimes people make that comment, oh well, African girl. No, like I'm seeing it even amongst African girls, like 35 plus, still single. Like and these girls are put together, good job.
Are they natives or are they transplants? But I do think that when I've noticed that trend more of, I think that for people, like when you stay somewhere a long time or when you're from somewhere, we talk about this in our videos. I know familiarity breeds contempt, right? So when you've been somewhere a long time and you know everyone, I feel as if, especially as a woman, it can impact dating because I feel it, or you think you know everyone because it's just like you kind of start not caring for the people around you, right? Like they kind of start being like less like desirable or less attractive because you know too much about them. Yeah. So I used to think of know people used to talk about the dating and things being so difficult, especially particularly in Texas. I noticed it was mostly natives, like people that have been there for a long time or lived there like 10 plus years, even if they weren't like born and raised. But I don't know. It could be a bunch of things contributing to that.
Okay. Jared said, shout out to Charlotte. Lived there for 2 years and love every bit of it. I miss it. Okay, when did you leave and why did you leave? Where do you live now? Chico said, I live in Fort Worth and I'm looking to move to Charlotte. Okay, a lot of Dallas, Charlotte connection. Like we said, we've noticed that a lot of Charlotte to Dallas.
Why are you leaving to state taxes to go? Why are you leaving somewhere with no state taxes to go pay state taxes? I'm curious. And those are, so let us know in the comment section why Charlotte.
Hater. Mia said, which one of y'all have more success in regards to dating? Honestly, this question is interesting. I personally feel like, can you say your dating has been successful if you're not married yet?
It depends on what the outcome is, yeah.
I don't know. For me, I don't know if I'm thinking too like rigid, or I'm thinking too straightforward. But I see girls like, oh, I have great dating experiences, but there's no ring. Like how we get
good dating experiences and not necessarily be married. It could depend. Not everyone goes into dating necessarily looking for marriage. You may not agree with that, and that may not be your philosophy. But not everyone goes into that, especially from different cultures, thinking like, oh, if I didn't get married, then that means it was a bad relationship, or that it wasn't that it wasn't worthwhile. No, did you get what you wanted out of it? That's to me is what's going to make someone feel as if they had a good or bad dating experience. It's not about getting married or not, right?
All right, so let's talk about like 20 people in here. So the topic is, should you move to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2024? And this reel I'm about to play, like, wow. When someone, I think it was my cousin, I was like, wow, I could vibe with this. Mind you, I actually like living in Charlotte. I don't have anything against. I'm not a hater like Ngozi over there in Houston.
This is a Charlotte. They need to give her a plaque or an award or something.
Met a really nice lady in Charlotte, but we decided to end things. I took a better job in LA. Definitely consider coming back to Charlotte one day. To LA, I don't know about LA. Okay, so let me play this. Let me see if you can.
You have to present and share your screen. Why are you doing that? He said, I want to move to Houston. I'm from Toronto. I just don't know how. What you mean how? Like,
you couldn't hear the sound?
You got to share it. Present and...
Share screen. Okay.
I don't see anything.
Do you see it now?
You have the tab open.
And you have no desire to stay there long term.
You hear it?
And that is exactly what people are doing here. Now, there are some people that will rent.
Okay, so this is the Charlotte thing I relate to. Okay.
Charlotte is like an Airbnb. Now, I won't take credit for this. I saw this on an Instagram comment, and I thought it was perfect. What do you do at an Airbnb? You go there for a short amount of time. And chances are, if you're at an Airbnb, you're from out of state. Airbnbs are short-term rentals, and you have no desire to stay there long-term. And that is exactly what people are doing here in Charlotte. Now, there are some people that will rent an Airbnb and maybe eventually retire in that area where they vacationed. But chances are people are going to go there and never go back. Just like an Airbnb, people love Charlotte, but it's just not home for them. Charlotte is like an Airbnb.
I can see that.
I was like, wow, this makes so much sense. He said Charlotte is like an Airbnb. So he said like at an Airbnb, it's temporary. He said, of course, there's some people that end up staying there, right? Because something happens, they just get used to it. It's like they just settle there and they make it home. But most people are not going to stay there long term. And I'm starting to feel like that with a lot of people. And I know I'm not crazy because I've only met like 2 young people from Charlotte in my whole 4 years being here, almost 4 years. I've met 2 people.
Like 2 young people? Like
2 people around our age, I'll say millennials, that were born and raised in Charlotte.
Okay.
Like real Charlotte natives. And one of them had mentioned that she finds it hard to make friends. I was like, how? Like, you're from here? She's like, yeah, because everyone I keep meeting is a transplant and they keep leaving. Okay, maybe she's onto something. This is like a Charlotte native saying this. I was like, really? I thought you would be the one that has the most friends because you went to school here. You probably went to college in North Carolina. Like, I would think that you would have so many friends. She's like, no, because now when I'm meeting people, they're not from here, and a lot of them don't end up sticking around. They don't stay here that long. So it just goes back to what we were talking about last week. I know Mina came on and talked about why she went back to Ohio was because of the pay. And it could be so many factors. It doesn't mean that, because it's boring, right? And someone had said last week, Charlotte seems boring. That was a funny comment. They're like, Charlotte sounds boring. I'm not gonna lie. I think for some, like if you're someone that's really likes a lot of variety, and especially maybe if you're really heavy into the nightlife, you probably will call Charlotte boring because things close here like at 2. There's not a lot of like all the other places. You have after hours. You have places that are open to like 4 or 5. You have so many different things to do in the night. Like even getting food at nighttime in Charlotte's hard. I was telling you guys this the other day. Like after a certain time, if you're hungry, you're gonna get cereal. Like there's not a lot of things that are just open late. It's just not that type of city. It's not. So I just feel like, maybe that is something that's pushing a lot of young people away who come here and try it, right? Like if they came here, there was more diversity and things to do. There was more culture. There was a lot of professional young scenes. There was, just maybe a little bit more action. Maybe some of those people would stay. And it was more affordable, number one. Mia said it's due to jobs not paying enough. Cost of living or people. Is it due to jobs not paying enough? Cost of living or people not finding success in dating? I would think dating would be a reason why people leave. I don't think that would be I don't think so. Because where you're going, that's going to be perfect. You're going to
but people do believe as much as we do say don't move for dating, you also can't say that your location can't impact it.
Right.
It goes both ways, right? So it's not like I said, I would not give the advice for a woman to move. I watched some show, was it a couple weeks, they said women are getting signs from God to move to Dallas. For something like like I would highly, strongly not advise to do that. But at the same time, I understand where some people may be coming from, because if you don't think about it when it comes to dating, where do you meet people? Yet I'm not an online person. If you're someone who doesn't go online, you're meeting people in going out and doing stuff. So if you're in a place where you go, there's not much to do, or when you go out, you're just seeing women, that is going to impact your dating. Right? Like that's that it is, but not to say that if you go somewhere with a lot of people, because we always know quality is different, quantity does not equal quality, right? But at the same time, like I said, if you don't have the things, if you're not meeting people, you don't have the events, that can spill over to someone's dating life.
Someone said that's so inaccurate. In my opinion, LOL, it's not an Airbnb, so you don't agree.
But you left. You say it's not an Airbnb, but you left.
You left.
You it was an Airbnb. You used it like an Airbnb.
Like, you notice there's certain places that I feel like a lot of people I notice that move to somewhere like Texas, they don't really leave as much, right? Like, they don't really move. It's not saying that it doesn't happen, because of course we have someone in the chat right now talking about leaving Fort Worth to Charlotte. I've heard about people leaving Dallas to Charlotte. So I'm not saying it doesn't happen, right? But we just have to look into some stats for this. Jashim said, do you feel that Atlanta's close proximity to Charlotte is bringing down the numbers of the people that move to Charlotte? I think honestly a lot of people from Atlanta are even moving to Charlotte, because people that still want to be like, have that proximity, but be somewhere a little bit more chill and laid back, but not the middle of nowhere. I feel like Charlotte is a perfect balance. Like, there's enough, but it's not Atlanta. How is the African American community in Houston? Is there lots of hatred between them?
I don't think so. I think honestly there's more mixture. If anything, like you go to a lot of spots that are African, you see a lot of American, particularly the women. I don't really see like the American men, right? But I think
you know why the women do that.
You know why they there. until they end up like Portia, but let's not talk too much. But yeah, they mix, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Sheem. Yes. So you feel that Atlanta's close proximity to Charlotte is bringing down the numbers? Never thought of that. It's possible. It is possible, because I do think that more young people, like, I would think more as a young person, you would cater towards Atlanta over Charlotte, because Atlanta has so much to do. The nightlife is crazy. It still has a lot of affordable suburbs. Like, it still has, last time I checked, apartments in Atlanta metro area are a little bit more expensive than Charlotte. The last time I checked, but that's been a while. But it seems like you would have more to, like, someone that really wants to have fun, you would choose Atlanta over Charlotte, for sure. And I feel like Atlanta, that diversity we're talking about, they have it. And we talk about diversity, we're not just talking about African stuff. We're talking about in general, like, so many cultures, so many different types of food, so much. Like, Atlanta is literally like a melting pot. It's like Houston, it's like Manhattan. Like, I put them all on the same level. Charlotte can't sit with those places. It's not possible. So I think maybe someone that's kind of tired of Atlanta might move to Charlotte. Like, someone that just wants somewhere more chill and wants to kind of get away. Charlotte would be like a good medium. Jerry said, facts, LOL, but it wasn't easy to leave. I still consider home away from home. My experience was great. I think it's just like anything in life, you make it how you want it. I agree to the extent, but like in Guzzy, where it says there's certain things you just know you want, and a certain places just don't give it to you.
For example, Jerry, you give an example. There's certain people, where I keep bringing to someone called us immigrants. We're not immigrants. We're proud children of immigrants. But for example, our family's from Nigeria, right? So let's say it's someone that you want to go out, and whenever you go out, you want to hear Afrobeats. You're not going to Charlotte.
No.
You're going to Atlanta, you're going to Houston. So there's certain things, if you're really into a particular thing, or there's certain things that are really important to you, or there's a certain thing you're particularly looking for, yeah, you can try and make I get what you're saying. You can meet it 50-50, but I'm going to tell you, for example, being from Jersey, I know like 10 people that have moved here from Jersey, like that I know since I've been here just in Houston just for 10 years. Ooh, that I've been here for 2 years. Like, there's a reason. Like a lot of us were there trying to make New Jersey work, trying to, be okay, trying to
there.
wasn't there. Like sometimes I get it. Sometimes you have to make the best of the situation, but then sometimes you also realize that what you want, you're not going to find it where you are. So you either accept things the way they are, or you also make a choice. I got tired of complaining. I don't like complaining. Being in New Jersey, I was always complaining about one thing or the other. And one day I had to tell myself, like, I'm not stuck here.
Not a tree.
I don't have to be here. I don't have a child here. Like, yeah, my family's there, but we'll make it work. Like, I can make a decision. If I don't like something, I can make a choice. You know what I mean? So, but I do get your point, Jere. But there are some places that are like, nah, it's not the vibe.
People
Like,
keep talking about the place. Don't you still feel like number one is if you have friends and a good social group? So I kind of feel like that's
you can also determine, like you mentioned, the girl talking about she can't keep friends because everyone keeps moving, right? So I get what I always say all the time. There's the three P's, right? It's the people, your personality, and the place. I think that number one still comes down to your personality. As much as people may want to argue, because there's people who are in the little cities, they're not doing anything, right? I think that number one is your personality. Number two is the place. No, number two is the people, and then number three is the place. But there is not like personality is 70%, and then the people is 20%. They're all like in the 30s for me. Like personality maybe 38%, and then people are like 33. Like they're all almost equally as important, because at the same time, like you can have the personality, but you don't have the people to do stuff with. And yeah, certain people are, because of their personality, they're going to go out by themselves.
right.
That's personality. Some people don't go out by themselves. It's not a thing for them. They're not comfortable.
You think going out by yourself is as fun? Because I do it when I feel like it's as fun as
It depends. Like right now, going to the club by yourself, like that may be a little weird. You know what I mean? Like I've done it, but I'm just saying, like it's not going to be the same vibe. Like sometimes there's certain places that you kind of need people to kind of make it fun. So it just depends on what you're going to. But I do believe that at the same time, I'm not about waiting for people to do everything. Like I do think it is healthy to be able to do certain things by yourself. But I understand for some people, it's just not their comfort level. So with all that said and done, I still believe that, having you, because you were mentioning the people is also important, but then the place is still very important, because all those things can build off of you. If you're in a place where people go out more, it also could be easier for you to meet friends, right? Because you go out and people are more social, people are nice. I was out Saturday, right, at some restaurant or whatever, and a manager came up because the food was taking long, whatever, and he's like, something, and sometimes we talk about Dallas, and he's like, yeah, Dallas people are mean. They're not nice. Houston, everyone is so nice. Everyone is so social. And the people look better too. They were just all like laughing, but it's like even stuff like that. Like, you know how many times who's saying he's from Dallas? Chico, Mbad. You can confirm with me. Like they're literally saying like Dallas people are like snotty. They're not really nice. Thank you. So in an environment like that, it may be harder to make friends versus somewhere like Houston where people are nicer, like nice, like where people are friendly, where people are, will just talk to you. So you can't. The place still matters. Is the point I'm trying to make. You can't.
I really think it's the cost of living in Charlotte. The pay is not equivalent. Charlotte is a fun city if you're an extrovert. So Mia, what makes the city fun to you? Like, what's your definition of fun? Because we also have to keep in mind that everyone doesn't like to do the same things, right? What I consider to be fun, I can consider going to happy hours and going to lounges to be fun, and someone doesn't like to do that, right? Someone is looking for a place where there's more outdoor activities, where the terrain is good for hiking, or where there's a lot of parks. I'm curious to know, what's your definition of fun? Jere said, absolutely, I agree with that. My ex was from Jersey. She would always say exactly what you're saying. Charlotte is still growing, though. I predict 2 or 3 years from now, things will be a lot different. I said 5 to 10 years. He said 2 or 3 years. So maybe I'm not giving enough credit to 5 to 10 years. I'm not going to turn.
You're getting Zara when in 2025. That's when next year.
Zara alone, please.
So what else? What else is coming to Charlotte? 2 to 3 years is a long time. That's a long time. 2-3 years for major developments to happen, and
how is the greater Charlotte area? I asked because Atlanta proper is actually really small, but the metro is how Atlanta cheats a little bit in terms of numbers. I don't the funny thing is, when I did my research last a couple months ago, Charlotte was actually allegedly bigger than Atlanta.
It is bigger.
And I always find that hard to believe because I feel like Atlanta seems so much bigger. But I'm not sure if the Charlotte metro area would be bigger than the Atlanta metro area, right? I'm not sure about that. But the city of Charlotte is actually bigger than the city of Atlanta. When we talk about how is the greater Charlotte area? What do you mean by how is it? Like, are you saying like, because I don't go to the metro area, the metro areas a lot. Like the only metro area I can say I'm really familiar with the two is Concord and Matthews. And those are not both. So Matthews is actually in Mecklenburg County, which Charlotte is in, and Concord is in Carabas, whatever they call it, Carabas County. It's actually a different county. So those are the two of the popular areas I would say I'm familiar with. Another big one is like Huntersville. There's like parts of South Carolina that's considered a metro area because it's right on the border. But I'm not really that familiar with any of the metro areas because I live like in Uptown. So I don't really have to go anywhere else, if that makes sense, to do anything because I live in the city center. So me, when I go to the metro areas, it's like for church or it's for like some of my providers or like, it's my hair appointment. Like I used to work in one of the metro areas too, so I'm familiar with it. But I don't know much about anywhere outside of Concord and Matthews, and I go to Huntersville occasionally, but not that often. Mia's definition of fun: lounges, bars, restaurant, active activities. It's so much you do in Charlotte if you research and don't mind going out by yourself. Mia, research. I wish you capitalize that because I'm not even gonna lie. I've been so boring this past year, but God has revived me. The old me is coming back, right? And when I just sit down and look at this stuff, I'm like, oh, there's actually a lot to do in Charlotte, but it's like it's not Afrobeats. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be dancing to Wizkid. You know what I mean? But I'm just like, wow, like this stuff actually happening here under my nose, like even down the street. Like one time there was this run going around, like this walk, and it was right in front of my apartment. I was like, well, if I knew about this early, I would have registered and like, well, I don't run, but I walked it. It's like a Novant walk or whatever. Like, wow, there's so many things that just happen right under my nose. But like you said, if you don't research it, you would never know. You would never really know. Christians, Atlanta Metro is more populated, but Charlotte city limits population is almost twice as Atlanta. Okay, that's why you cheesing. Who got you cheesing? Speaking of in terms of entertainment, dining, etc., a lot of entertainment options are outside of Atlanta. Oh, okay.
I heard a lot about Duluth. What's Lawrenceville? I watch my YouTube. What's the other city?
I don't think it's the same because if it was there, then I would have been to those places.
A lot of people say Atlanta, but few people are really talk about Midtown and like real Atlanta. Like they be in the suburbs, like still having like stuff, like the metro area. So I get what he's saying.
No, I wouldn't say Charlotte's like that. Trust me, things exist in other areas, but I feel like everything is like in proper Charlotte. Like I feel like everything is like an actual Charlotte. Like I don't really hear people saying, "Oh, I'm going to Concord to do this. I'm going to Huntersville for this. I'm going to Matthews for this spot." Like no. I feel like everything legit, like everything's to do. It's literally either like Uptown, South End, maybe a couple of things in Plaza Midwood. Like what else? Like everything is basically in one area. Everything is kind of in South End, but I don't really go to South End because it's kind of young. But I need to start going there because it'd be lit. Oh my gosh, like that's where all like the breweries are, and people just be. Oh no, I'm weird. Wazy TV. I like Houston better. Atlanta, I heard, has too many gay people. I don't want to see that all the time. I mean, that's the thing. You don't want to see. It's a free country. Been in Denver 9 years. Relocated to Charlotte for a job this weekend. Definitely nervous. Oh my gosh, congrats, Charlotte, for a job this weekend. Who else? Denver? Is that Evie?
No, that's Austin.
Okay, but I'm sure it's better than Denver. I don't know. I've never been to Denver, Colorado, but I don't see. I guess what you should look for: a person that's an introvert, or a person that can't be alone going out, will find Charlotte boring and not for them.
But it's not any major city. Do you think introverts really can enjoy a major city? It may be too much for them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Even this introvert extrovert, I don't know. But I get what you're saying, right? Because I'm thinking that maybe someone's introverted, if they have more options, it'll be better for them. But then it could kind of work the opposite way. Having too many things to do could be overwhelming.
Should I play the post again, or you think it's good? The real again?
No, I don't know if people joined, but make sure y'all liking this video.
Yeah. So basically we're talking about, is Charlotte the Airbnb? Is it an Airbnb? Do people stay here? Why or why not? DFW people is your typical bunch with a mix of hood and upstanding people. So basically, ultimately, to wrap this up, if anyone wants to join, we can put the link in. Anyone have any thoughts about?
Who's moving to Charlotte?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, everyone moving to Charlotte. What made you pick Charlotte? What like? How did you even hear about Charlotte? Like, I heard about Charlotte. I didn't know what Charlotte was. I just heard about it because I had like a family here, and I came and visited like a couple of times, and that was the only southern city I know about. Right? Like, I would go to Maryland. We would go to other places. But I said, when I want to move, I want to move to the south because I want to move somewhere that's warm. And I never thought of the West Coast, even though I went to Arizona and I really liked it. I just felt like it was too far away from home. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go down south. I thought about Texas. I thought about Georgia. And for some reason, it just, maybe also I didn't have like a direct link. If I had a direct link, maybe in Texas or Georgia, I might have picked one of them. But I didn't have anyone. So just I knew a couple of people in North Carolina. And I was like, okay, let me just do Charlotte. So that's how I ended up in Charlotte. Like, it was a bit random. It wasn't like I went to school here or like I was so familiar with Charlotte. Like, when I moved to Charlotte, to be honest, I knew not one person in the city of Charlotte. When I'm talking about I knew people in North Carolina, I'm talking about like my one friend was in Raleigh, and the other family I had was about an hour plus out of Charlotte. So I did not have anyone directly in Charlotte, North Carolina. So technically, I could say I moved here all by myself, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. Okay,
I don't recommend it.
I'm not even gonna lie. I really think because of my experience, low key is why I would be nervous about moving again. Because I feel like I'm finally acclimated, I'm finally comfortable. I feel like I know my way around, I know the streets, I can go to places without GPS, have all my providers, I have my nail person, I have my hair person. Like, I feel like the thought of starting over and doing that again makes me nauseous. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, especially because I don't hate Charlotte. Right? Maybe I wouldn't have those thoughts if I was really in a city. You know, some people in a place, I've heard of people leave in a city they were in for 5 months. 6 months. They didn't even give it a year, 4 months.
4 months. 4 months. I don't
So
like
I already almost 4 years of my life. 4 years. So for me to get up and go, I kind of feel like I kind of need a reason. It doesn't mean I don't necessarily need a reason. This is a free country to get up and do whatever you want, whenever you want. But for me personally, I just feel like there's nothing really pushing me out of Charlotte. There's nothing that's like, I can't say, oh my God, I don't like it at all. Like, I have people that complain so much. Oh, it's this, oh, it's that, it's boring. It's like, I don't really, yeah, I have my concerns. Trust me, there's things I think Charlotte could work on. I definitely think it can be a better city, but I don't feel like it's bothering me that much that I'm ready to pack up all my stuff and go somewhere, if that makes sense. Anyone want to join the chat? The link is in there. If you want to talk about how you got into Charlotte. I got job offers from Atlanta and Charlotte and chose Charlotte because Atlanta seemed too manic. I could definitely understand that. Truly Art said, I Googled upcoming cities for young Black people and Charlotte was on the list. Yay, Charlotte.
Have you moved here? Are you considering moving here?
Huh? No, I think they moved here.
Truly are, okay. All right, Mia said, have y'all met a lot of solid friends in y'all cities or people that y'all can hang with consistently besides family? This is a great question, Mia, and it's crazy you mentioned that because it's funny you mentioned that because, just made a little over 2 years I've been in Houston, right? And when I would meet people, I even had my cousin over like last week, the questions a popular question that was asked is like, how do you know so many people, right? For someone that's, I guess only been here for 2 years. And I personally don't feel like I know that many people. But I do think that I say all the time, when you're moving somewhere, you have to have a really open mind. And I don't see the point in trying to move somewhere and start all over, but not really trying to be open to meet people. And I get it. We've all had our experiences, with friendships and things can be, even lost, losing some, even as you're getting older, you realize like things are not working. But I can say that I feel like I have a decent amount of people. Like, I'm not like, if I'm in my place, it's because I by myself because I want to be. Like, I have plans on the weekends. Like, I don't feel like, and I moved here. Like, I wasn't as bad as Nana. I knew a few people, and I have like a few extended family. But I didn't know many people moving here. But a lot of my friends from New Jersey, New York area didn't move down here after me. A few people I know that. So it's that definitely helps, right? When you have people, and I've reconnected with like older friends who moved from New Jersey as well. So
Everyone moved to Houston.
what? Like I'm telling you, people they saying rent is going up because of they're not lying. Like I'm telling you, 5 years from now, Houston. First time I visited Houston was 2020, so I never even seen Houston pre-pandemic. But like people that moved here like 2015 or 2017, when I talked to them, they're like, "Yo, everything is so different now. Like this wasn't the way it was. Things were so much cheaper, like half the price housing, but like things have changed. So I think that I have enough solid. Like I think I have enough. Always
Because Ngazi Mixie. For me, I had people, a couple of my friends moved, but I feel, and in general, I'm just not. The older I get, I'm not gonna lie, I've become a little bit more reserved, like not reserved, like kind of introverted when it comes to friends, and I'm trying to work on that. So I feel like I can do better in the friend area. Like I definitely could do better when it comes to making solid friends, and I'm gonna try and work on that this year. But I do have friends, I have people I'm cool with. It's just I want to be by myself, no drama. But a city will get boring if you don't have a good core group of people. That's
the people.
Because going out by yourself after a while, that gets boring. I'm sorry, that gets boring. There's only so much you want to do by yourself. So yeah, me, I wouldn't. I have some fam, consistent besides fam, but solid friends. Yeah, my husband will help. That'll be easy. But enjoy the rest of your evening, the beautiful ladies. Enjoy the chat. Hang in there. Charlotte will have a whole Facebook before you know it is coming. Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you. Like the video, super chat.
Hopefully, I have a good experience in Charlotte. I'm optimistic. You will. Like you will. If you like.
You coming from St. Louis? I mean, St.
Louis. You don't know what's happening in the city.
I don't need to be there. Trust me. I know it's not. I know Charlotte is more to do. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the Midwest. Like I mean, let me not get on Sexy Red City. But
I moved to Charlotte already. Okay, so that's how you. They Googled it. He or she Googled the upcoming cities for young Black people, and Charlotte was on the list. Okay, how do you like it, and how long have you been here? I see a little more Black professionals moving to West Palm Beach, Florida, from out of state to work for New Day U.S. headquarters here, and more jobs coming in the area this year, especially next year. So you're in Florida. Is South End more of a mixed crowd age-wise or pretty young? I'm in my mid-30s and would like to be out around people my age. I would say South End is more young, but I do feel like they have a lot of restaurants. I definitely feel like an older crowd goes to South End too. It just depends on where you go. It's just, for me, South End, like 1501 closed. I used to be in South End. That was like one of my favorite spots in Charlotte. They closed down. There's like this new pub that replaced it. I think Tyler Creek, something like that. Across the street is Cloud. That's kind of like a club. But besides that, I feel like South End doesn't really. Oh, what else is South End? Uptown Yoke's in South End. It's a really nice spot if you want to check out like brunch, breakfast, Black owned as well. All the spots I just named are Black owned. So I think South End, to me, I just think of South End like restaurants and like bars. So like outside of that, like I don't really know of any lounges, but there's a lot of new things. Like this sound bar opened up there. It's like Soko sound bar. I want to check it out. Everything new. Mariah, that restaurant opened up, is over there. So everything new, I feel like they just throw it in something. Like everything new is there. The parking can be kind of annoying. And there's even a part of South End that I didn't even know about that when I tried out this spot for the first time, this golf place. What is it called? Because you say y'all have one in miniature golf, y'all have one in Houston. Puttery, yeah, like that part of South End. I was like, oh, there's a lot of those, like Velvet Taco. So I'm not, South End is lit. I'm not even gonna lie, like I just been acting like a grandma, but a lot of stuff are actually in South End. A lot of places are in South End. So I do think it's more of a younger crowd, but I wouldn't say that mid-30s is like, oh, you're too old to be in South End. No. RSVP is in South End. Mia said, do y'all have friends of different races or more Africans or African-American friends? Is there a certain group that y'all connect with more, meaning race or culture? That's actually one thing I was talking to my friend earlier today too on my way somewhere, and I actually want to work on that. Going to an American church has helped because I'm going to meet like different type of people, but it's still a Black American church, right? So everyone there is still Black. It's just very hard because I don't want to limit myself, but it's like almost like when you work from home, if you work from home and then you don't do anything else, where do you meet people? You know what I mean? So you have to be very, very intentional. I'm open to every race, every culture. I do want to meet different type of people. I don't want to limit myself, but I do find it easier just to relate with not necessarily just Nigerian or Africans. I just feel like we grew up kind of the same. We have a lot of similarities. Like when I talk about certain stuff, they're not gonna think I'm crazy. And I used to have like a American friend growing up, and she thought it was so weird that me and Gus left to babysit our little brother. Like she would she would kind of like mock it or like make jokes about it. But like my Nigerian friend, that's the oldest of four, she gets it. You get what I'm saying? Because she was raised the way that we were raised. You know what I mean? So like I didn't feel embarrassed that like, oh, I can't go to the party because I'm babysitting my brother, right? Like she would come and look for me. Like she would come when we was home, and like my mom wouldn't let us go out because she was very strict when she was home. But like she would get it. And she would come, she wouldn't judge me that I couldn't come out. She would come and visit me in the house, right? Because she understands, like, even though maybe her parents weren't as strict, she gets it because we just have that same culture. So it's not to say that I can't be friends with other people, but I just find it easier to be friends with Africans, and if not Africans, definitely people of color, because I just feel like we have more similar and shared experiences. But I can be friends with any. I could talk to anyone. I could be friends with anyone. Like it's partially me. I'm a bit guarded, so I have to work on that. Like if you say you want to make friends, you can't be super guarded.
You gotta be friendly. Those who want friends must be friendly. But I mean, yeah, no one's joining. Let me share the link one more time. If not, we're gonna wrap this up soon, y'all. But this is a continuation, and so any responses to the comments people make, because I think that's important. What some of the popular comments that are coming up on the live, what people are saying about last week's live. Is there anything in particular that stood out to you?
Because you talk about the real reason why people are leaving Charlotte. No, not necessarily anything that really stuck out to me. I know we said should you move to Charlotte in 2024? People leaving, like a lot of people didn't really comment about the cost of living. I'm curious, are people not feeling it? Like, is it just that I need to get into a different field? Like, is it that I need to go work for Wells Fargo? But a lot of people didn't necessarily
go live in somewhere far.
Right, maybe I just need to go live in university, call it a day, like stop trying to be bougie, because maybe a lot of people aren't feeling it. Depends on where you want to live, right? And most people are going to live based on where their salary is, right? So if we don't have any comments, I guess we could keep this video short today if nobody wants to join and talk about why they moved to Charlotte or why they picked Charlotte. Or if they want to move to Charlotte in 2024, we'll have upcoming videos. We're still going to discuss similar topics. And I think you should move to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2024 if you want to. I just think you should have realistic expectations. I think that you should know what you're signing up for. I think you should take away New York, Houston, and Atlanta from your memory, DC, LA. I think if you're looking for, I will not put Charlotte on the level of those major cities. I'm not going to lie to you. I am not. Like, if you don't have those expectations, I think you'll be fine. But if you're looking for like a lit major city, don't come to Charlotte. Don't, because I think you probably will be disappointed. But I think there's enough here, especially like look at people talking about coming from smaller towns or smaller cities. I think those tend to be the people that are going to stay in Charlotte and appreciate the value. The people that came from somewhere so expensive, they're not even necessarily worried about what's lit and what's not lit. They're just trying to look for something more affordable, right? So I think that you should move to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2024 if you really want to. I don't see why not. I just think that you should know what you're signing up for and have realistic expectations for the city and not think you're coming to Atlanta or New York. Yeah. When I visited from Denver, the driving in Charlotte shocked me. It was wild. People say that, but I have never noticed that. Can I fit in Houston being Ghanaian from Toronto, Canada? Where do you guys meet people? Best places?
Still fit in, trust me. I don't really meet them, so I'm sure they're here, but I don't really meet them.
Ghanaians. But thank you. I said he should come to Charlotte if you want to meet Ghanaians. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, make sure you like the video, super chat, all of that. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.